You're listening to High Frequency Healing on the Superpower Up podcast, the show that explores the awakening of superpowers through higher dimensional healing.
Hello, this is AngelaMaría, one of the Superpower Up hosts, and you are listening to High Frequency Healing Show. The only difference between where you are to where you want to be is the actions you take here and now to heal your life. Let's take a deep breath and be here and now. I invite you to enjoy this time together. So here we go. Let's welcome Lucia Giovannini to my show. We will be talking about what does transformation mean for a woman. Lucia is world-renowned sensation former, international Italian supermodel, turned transformational speaker, and author of 13 books. Her 20 years of inspiring work through conferences and workshops globally has been inspired by growing up throughout different parts of Italy and Africa. She holds a doctorate in Psychology and Counselling and a Bachelor in Psycho-Anthropology. She's a master fire walking trainer, an NLP and Neuro Semantics trainer, a recognized international life coach. Her work crafts a synergy between traditional psychological techniques, motivational practices, and ancient Eastern rituals that turn her seminars into profound experiences for the audiences in Asia and Europe alike. Please join me to welcome Lucia Giovannini. Hello, Lucia.
Hello, Angela. How are you? And I'm very pleased to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited too. Let's start this conversation, Lucia, telling us what's your healing superpower?
So I think my healing superpower is compassion. Compassion in many forms, compassion towards all sentient beings. So not just humans, but animals, nature, and compassion also towards myself, towards my mistakes, towards the parts of myself that are not how I would like them to be. I think this is my superpower.
Lucian, you know what I love about that superpower? You mentioned something that is key towards myself. There is no superpower more powerful than the one that I use first to serve me. So I want to highlight that part. I think it's very important. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. Would you please take us back to your early years and name one memorable life lesson that is useful for you today?
Well, one memorable life lesson was when I was still a model, and I was actually already attending workshops and reading this kind of books. And of course, I've been studying psychology. So I did a vision board for myself. Mm-hmm. And on that vision board, I put be on the cover of a very important magazine. I don't know, I'm sure you have it in the US as well, which is called Cosmopolitan.
Oh, yes, very famous.
Exactly. And so I wanted to be on the cover of Cosmopolitan. And I trusted this process, of visualization and affirmation and all of that. And I did a lot of that in order to get to my goals. And I didn't get to my goal. I was not able to be on the cover of Cosmopolitan. So, I started in a way getting frustrated, and why it didn't work. And what did I do wrong? And so on and so forth. But to make a long story short, in a few years after that, I started, having this desire in my heart to change my work. And actually the desire was to help people. And in a few years, I totally changed my life. So the lesson I got from there is that in that moment of my life, my personality or my ego, in a way, wanted to have that goal to be, on the top magazine, on the top cover. But in reality, that was not my path. That was not the path of my soul, that path of my heart. So not having that goal, not being able to reach that goal, taught me that we have to live, even when we set our goals, we have better leave some space for the divine. We have always, we need to leave some space for the hand of God or goddess, which I prefer to call her, has other plans for us. So instead of getting frustrated when we do not get our goals, maybe just to leave space for just observing and out of, pure curiosity and see, okay, where is, life leading me to? Where is God leading me to? And that's the attitude I have now. As a matter of fact, now, all the goals I set, I always end up with this or something better for me and all the other people involved.
Oh, Lucia, and I think I have another question for you later on, because you said two very important things. One is the ego blocks our dreams to come true.
Yes.
And the other thing that you said that I so agree, and I have verified that in my life many times, is that knots from life, it's just a sign that there are more lives coming, and it's just the way our soul tell us, this is not what I want to experience.
Exactly. Totally. I totally agree.
And we need to turn our antennas on to be able to identify when there is a block that comes from our soul, or there is a block that comes from that divinity inside that is telling us yes, but no yet.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And in this sense, what really helps us is to stay open instead of shutting down and going into disappointment, or, it should have been that way, or it's not right, or, what did I do wrong? Instead, staying open in that state of curiosity, openness, trust, faith. So that lesson taught me, to just be open instead of attaching, because in a way it's also what creates suffering, because if we get too attached to how things must develop, like this goal, I have to reach it and it has to be like this way. And in this sense, we develop an attachment, and we are saying, I cannot be happy until I have the cover of Cosmopolitan, for example.
Yes.
Which is an ego trip.
Yeah, and sometimes we waste all our energy in something that is not meant to be.
Exactly.
But then we're going to talk exactly about what we are going to talk, that is, what does transformation mean for a woman? And we are going back there. But before, Lucia, I would like to know where people can go to find out more about you and your work.
So my website, luciagiovannini.com. And then I have a Facebook page, which is Lucia Giovannini. And also I have a free online community, which is called A Whole New Life, which is all about transformation. And there I share like some processes, some resources, and inspirational quotes, and so on and so forth.
And that general group is also in Facebook?
Yes. Okay. A Whole New Life is on Facebook, is in Facebook. I have other groups, but they are only in Italian. So.
Yeah. No, I think we need the English now.
Yes, the English one is The Whole New Life on Facebook, and also luciagiovannini.com and Lucia Giovannini on Facebook is in several languages, sometimes in Italian, in English, something in French. So there are a few languages there.
Great. So now when we come back from this short break, we are going to talk more about Lucia's healing superpower. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/thenet to learn more.
We're back and you're listening to High Frequency Healing Show. Today, we are talking with Lucia Giovannini about what does transformation mean for a woman. Lucia, we were discussing all of this moment when you were not able to get into Cosmopolitan. And is that the burning bush moment that made your heart desire changing your path in life?
Well, the real moment was when I realized one day I woke up. So I was having this glamorous life, apparently, at least. Meaning
yeah.
I was apparently, yes, because from the outside, it was, a golden life. So I was traveling the world as a model, earning, quite a lot of money. I was married to a model. So we were also often modeling together and all our friends were in the fashion industry and so on and so forth. Lots of, clothing for free, designer clothing, and beautiful life. Mm-hmm. But in the inside, I started to feeling, like unhappy, frustrated, very nervous. I would react for nothing. And then one day I woke up and I started looking at my watch and I had a photo shooting, very important photo shooting, nice location in Sardinia, a nice island in Italy, best beaches, fantastic hotel. And I was there, okay, how many hours to the evening? Okay, another 8 hours. Oh my goodness, 7 hours, 6 hours. I was doing the countdown to when the day would have come to an end. My working day would have come to an end, which is, horrible. Mm-hmm. And that was, I think, my turning point. I said, I can't take it anymore. Yes, it's glamorous. Yes, I have apparently everything I need, but in reality it's not true. So I had to deal with myself, because up to that moment I was really, feeling guilty. What do I have to complain? How can I complain? It's such a perfect life. But in reality, that day I said, I can't go on like this for more months or years. So that it was then that I decided it was time to change.
And I honor you for listening to yourself, because that's not an easy step to make. When I have to listen to my feelings, when I have to listen to my emotions, and I have to say, but it's perfect, but this is not what I like, this is not what I want, and for some reason my soul is looking for something else. That is huge, Lucia. And I think that's one of the steps women, I would say everybody, but it's specifically
especially women. I agree.
Yes, exactly. We just really need to get in touch to those emotions, those thoughts, and honor them.
Yeah,
so,
especially
Lucia,
women.
Yes, exactly. So what is a transformational guide?
So a transformational guide is someone who accompanies people, who helps people in their transformational process. So I like to define myself like a Sherpa, in Himalayan mountains. There are these little guides that carry your weight, carry your backpack, and show you the path, basically. So, of course, I cannot carry the weight, the emotional weight or the emotional pain of people, because, I mean, it's not possible. But at the same time, I feel, and I know, I mean, because I've done it for so many years, I can, in a way, at least help them to make it lighter and show them the way and walk with them. That's the idea. That's what happens in my workshops, in my retreats, and also with readers of my books.
Mm-hmm. And I love that. That really touches my heart. Especially, I mean, I love the analogy you made with people that goes and hike the Himalaya, but also because you know exactly what that people is going through, because you already went through that transformational process. And that one makes your job remarkable, Lucia.
Thank you. Yeah.
So please explain to us, how is that synergy between traditional psychological techniques, motivational practices, and ancient Eastern rituals that you use in your work?
Yeah, so I think that rituals are a very important part of our psyche. Because I mean, they need to be, because our psyche is really nourished by rituals. And so I use different kinds of rituals depending on the retreat I'm leading. Like, I'm leading retreats in Thailand, in Bali, and of course Bali and Thailand, for example, they have two different traditions, because Bali's tradition is Hinduism, Thailand tradition comes from Buddhism. So already they have different, paths. And so they have their own rituals, which and I studied with both traditions. So in my workshops, I blend this kind of rituals, and most of all, there are rituals with the elements like water, earth, fire, and there are rituals in nature, because we are part of nature, and I think that most of our neuroses arise because we disconnect from nature. In our cities, in our everyday life, we run from morning when we get up to the evening when we go to bed, and we disconnect from nature, and we disconnect from our own soul. So rituals are intended to help us reconnect with our deeper soul, with ourselves, or with our higher self, if we want to see it from another perspective. And the blending of all that part with psychology, positive psychology, helps also the cognitive part, because we also need to have an understanding of our path. We need an understanding of what's going, inside of ourselves. The phases, for example, something I talk about also in my book is the phases, the different axes of change, which are basically the phases of any transformational change we want to make. So the psychological parts helps us to be more in charge of our own emotions, our own decisions, and our own life.
Mm-hmm. And before our interview, I was just talking to Lucia about the questions and how the interview goes, and I told her how much I love rituals, because I do believe that rituals is an external way to spark the witch, the divinity we are inside.
Yes.
And rituals keep me sane. And you just said something that I love. Our psyche gets crazy, as you said something else, but something like our psyche gets crazy because we disconnect from nature. And that is so true, because in nature is where the real wisdom lies. If we connect with nature and the way nature works, the way nature develops, grows, feels, then we have the secrets for an abundant and healthy life.
Absolutely. So, and I totally agree with the idea that through rituals we reconnect as women. We also reconnect with the inner witch.
Yes.
Yeah, which is also where our great power resides, ancient power resides. So in Europe, we had the witch hunting for, hundreds of years, and of course this horrible event that went on for so many years, in a way conditioned us women for generations and generations. And so when we want to reclaim our power, part of that path has to go through reclaiming what we just called the inner witch, and or the inner goddess, or the inner priestess, or the part of us that as women is so much connected with Mother Nature. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. We could stay here for hours talking about rituals. So I think we may have another part of this interview where we just talk about rituals, Lucia, because I do believe that is a big way to unleash our power, our inner power. But I also would like to talk about your book, A Whole New Life, which has been translated into more than 8 languages globally, and it debuts in the US for the first time ever, March 2019, Lucia. That is exciting.
Yeah, it is. It is. And actually, I wrote that book really to help people face change, face transformation. And I think that change is one of our, all our problems in life are connected with change, because either we want a change or a transformation that is not happening in life, in a relationship, in our job, and so we suffer, or we don't want any change, but life pushes us through change. The end of a relationship, an illness, And so how do we face change? How do we create the changes we want in life? How can we accelerate change? How can we accept the changes that we do not want and make the best out of it? So these are all topics that I speak about in the book.
So that leads me to the next question. What does transformation mean for a woman, Lucia?
Well, I think that for a woman, transformation means getting in touch with our own power and marrying, making a sacred wedding within ourselves. So marrying the female part and the masculine part, the female and the male part within ourselves, which means openness and receptiveness, and at the same time, strength and directedness. So when we do that, we transform our life as women. And so we as women have been conditioned to put other people first, our children, our spouses, but the idea is to really be in charge of our life first, and not as an act of selfishness, but as an act of love.
I love the way that you describe it, because that is something I also have verified in my life, that when you are able to marry, when you are able to balance your feminine and your energy and masculine energy into yourself, is when you really open up to a deep transformational process that creates more out of the best out your life. Yes. Because everything that is inside, it's outside. So when you create that transformation inside you, you start creating better things, better experiences, more satisfactory experiences out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Before, when you were, I think it was at the first question, you said, and then when I couldn't make my dream come true to being cosmopolitan, and you were just telling that it wasn't the desire from your soul, it came more from your ego. You end up that part saying something like, now I know how to make my dreams come true. And I know that making the dreams come true, it's the result of that inner transformation that we need to lead in our lives. So if I ask you, Lucia, what would be the formula to make your dreams come true? What would you say?
The magic formula. I would say, I mean, there's a lot to say, of course, but I'll try to
summarize it.
To summarize it. So first thing is awareness. The first step is awareness. Awareness of where we want to go. So what are the dreams we want to make come true? Where do those dreams come from? So it's just, a dream that our family implanted on us, that society implanted on us. It's just a dream that our ego pushes us because everybody has to have, a bigger house, so I also want a bigger house. Or is it, a dream of my soul? A dream, that dream, that goal, is it part of my mission or part of someone else's expectation on me? So this kind of awareness of what I'm feeling right now, awareness of what do I need in this precise moment in life. So this kind of awareness. Mm-hmm. So, and one question could be, okay, how do you get to that awareness? And of course, the answer is by training, by practicing. So for example, an exercise I advise people to do, very simple, is to set an alarm on your phone, like 3-4 times a day, and then when this alarm goes off, you just stop for a second and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What do I need right now? So those two questions, what am I feeling and what do I need? And you do it just for a week, and out of that you start, to train yourself to be more aware in your everyday life. So that I would say as step one. And step two is when you start being aware of what you want or where you want to go in life, what are your goals, your dreams, and then, of course, there is a part, at least in my experience, there is a part, that holds back, a part. For example, when I was changing my job, a part of me went, but it's too risky. You are letting go of, a good income, your security, to start what? All these kind of questions, of doubts. Then a question that I really suggest is, what is the cost of not changing? Because of not going through the transformation? Because we always ask ourselves the question, what is the cost of this transformation? What do I have to let go of? What will it cost me in terms of friends, in terms of money, in terms of, securities? Or what is it going to cost me? But we never ask ourselves the question, what is the cost of not going through the transformation, of staying in this abusive relation, of staying in this unsatisfactory job? What is the cost?
Oh, I love that. What's the cost of not going through this transformation? I think that's key, Lucia. Thank you for sharing that. I think those two steps are huge. Awareness and thinking about the kind of transformation I need to go through to achieve what I want.
Yeah.
That's key. Lucia, could you share with us 2 steps or tips for anyone to start their healing process? Because before any transformational process, I need to be aware that there is a healing that needs to happen for me to be able to create out there what I want. What would be those 2 tips?
They would have to do with love, with being more in contact with our own heart, our heart energy, because it's the heart energy that heals. So I would say forgiveness, forgiving, other people, and especially forgiving ourselves for not being perfect, for not, for having made mistakes. Forgiveness. And forgiveness doesn't mean condoning, like for other people. If you forgive, people who did something bad to you, it doesn't mean you condone them, but it means you just let go. So forgiving, because forgiveness opens the door of the heart. Because until we have forgiven, when there are still some a feeling of resentfulness, the door of the heart is closed. Mm-hmm. So forgiveness helps us open the door. So that would be the first one. And the second one is, I would say, prayer or meditation. So I say prayer or meditation because for me they are very related. In a way, prayer is talking to God and meditation is listening to God, and a good conversation needs both. So find your form, or there are so many forms of meditation and prayers. Find the one that, it suits you. It could be just observing your breath 5 minutes a day, as far as meditation is concerned. It would be just, when you wake up in the morning, talk to God and ask God whatever you need. And before going to bed, sending a grateful thought, a grateful sentence to God, like, God, thank you for this day. Something even, as short as that. And of course, you can elaborate more. But those two steps, I would say, are really helpful for the healing process.
Thank you so much, Lucia, for being so open and sweet and share your wisdom with us today.
Thank you. It was such an honor and a pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you. Let's remind the listeners where they can go to find out more about you.
Yes, my website, luciagiovannini.com, and Facebook community called A Whole New Life.
Perfect. And please, everybody here in the United States, let's remember that Lucia's book will be released March 2019. I'm going to be there ready to read it, Lucia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angela.
And thank you all of you for joining us today. I am AngelaMaría. Conscious creation, change actions, shift energy to live heaven down here on earth. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the Superpower Quiz today.